of 2 FM ball games here.
That I expected that team to get. B.J. Slicker, 4 points last night. It was not the key factor. It was the people. John Sparks looks like he's come to the forefront as the person who may be this point guard, especially until Tyler Fuller gets his strength and get his minutes back and get his game legs back under him. Even though John Sparks fouled out of the game last night, he had a very strong performance. But if you look down the scoring last night, Ratcliffe, once again, 15 points. McCormick, 19 points off the bench. So it's nice to see for this Charger team that if BJ is struggling, and BJ probably had back-to-back games now without BJ Slicker in double figures, and the Chargers get a win.
Yeah, again, winning last night and defeating West Lafayette was West Lafayette's season opener. Coach Young really has some interesting things to talk about tonight in our pregame interview as our Linden State Bank pregame show featuring Coach Young, and also a short interview with Coach Tony Coleman tonight for all the Fountain Central listeners who are probably tuning in for one of those rare occasions tonight. We certainly are glad to have you along over on the west side of the county and moving over into Fountain County. Certainly hope you enjoy our coverage tonight on 103.9 WIMC FM. We're going to have the Mustangs on again later on in the season when they play Southmont. So we hope you enjoy again this play-by-play action tonight of the Mustangs. And Tom, want to flip the coin, talk about the Mustangs a little bit. They're off to a 2-0 start. It took them 18 games last season to get to 2 wins. They've got it in their first 2 this year. Coach Coleman I caught him downstairs right at the entrance to the locker room. He was sitting down reading a book, for all things. I mean, that's just how far along he has come with his team in a short period of time.
And I really think that we would call that the Brent Harris factor. Brent Harris no longer really covering Fountain Central on a regular occasion, and I bet you Tony Coleman probably doesn't want to see Brent step foot in Petersburg all season long.
I walked up to Coach Coleman and said, Coach, I said, I'm Jeff Nelson, you know. I said with the Crawfordsville radio station. And he goes, yeah, Jeff, he said, I remember you from last year, you know. And I said, also, I said, I'm writing tonight for the Journal Review. I said, I'm covering your game here for Barry Lewis. And he kind of rolled his eyes and goes, thank goodness, you know.
JC, you know, and I know Brent can't listen to us because he's right now doing public address down at Southmont, but I'm sure we'll let him know later in the night that Tony Coleman sends his best and ask him to stay out of Fountain County, if at all possible, all season long.
Well, and the other thing we want to make sure that we steer clear of tonight, no Scott Fenley jokes, okay?
That's pretty much... You don't need to say Scott Finley and anything else.
It would be like an oxymoron or something, you know.
Speaking of morons.
Yeah, there we go. Nice segue. Scott Finley just getting a good start on his bachelor party here in Crawfordsville, and I know that a whole bunch of the Double Bogey Tour and a couple of the sports idiots are gathering over at the Double Bogey executive offices in coming into the second part of a doubleheader.
Well, they really do, and the thing that's interesting, after the coaches clinic this morning down at the Boys and Girls Club, listening to
Lafayette, it's always good to get that first W taken care of. Well, it is. Sometimes it's hard to get, especially when you should have won the first 2 ball games, and we felt like last night was a necessary win, as we feel tonight is too. You feel that every night, but especially after you've lost 2 that you could have won and should have won. So, you know, we started so poorly, and the plus side of it is I thought we made some great plays and did some of the things that we're trying to get done, and if you can do that, why, you feel like it's a plus night.
Well, you also got your one and only senior, Tyler Fuller, back into real full-time action last night, and that's got to be a real positive for this Charger squad.
Well, it is, and, you know, Tyler still hadn't practiced much. He started practicing full-time Monday, and he caught a knee in where he had surgery, and, you know, that really, it hurt. And he doesn't have his legs yet. We're not going to start him tonight because of that, and Jason McCormick played so well last night, so we'll go with him there. But we're going to try to use him at the point some, use him at the wing, and try to get his legs back. But he played pretty good ball and made a couple poor decisions. But other than that, for his first game, I thought he played well.
And, Coach, you got good balance all the way around you. You mentioned that Jason had a good game last night, but you got a bunch of guys in the scoring column. You've got some fresh legs in and out, which not only was good for last night, but will also bode well for tonight.
Well, we think so. You know, we think that the way we want to play, we're going to have to do that. They're a very patient club, and we got to take them out of their rhythm and get them into some of the things that we want them into. And that's just not my personality. I can't stand to see a team come down and throw the ball around 10 or 15 times. Two things. One, I like to be on the offensive end, and the other thing is I can't get my kids to do it, so it makes me mad the other guy can.
Certainly one of those differences in philosophy of Coach Coleman, and they've got a couple of wins, so they got to feel pretty good. So that's just going to make things just that much more interesting here at home tonight.
Well, it is. Talking to Tony, before we started playing the JV game, he's got a lot more confidence in himself, and you got to have that confidence as a coach, which it passes on to the kids. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure his kids are feeling that, and they're playing with a lot more confidence.
And this is a ball game we talked about. I know Tom talked with you last night. We talked about this morning at the coaches show. Fountain Central has got to view this game as a very important game for them, just like North Putnam does when they come in and play North-South Crawfordsville. When Fountain Central plays North-South Crawfordsville, they say, let's go get those big guys down the road.
Well, I'm sure they do. And last year we hammered them pretty good at times, and they've been down, so I'm sure this is a big game. This is a test for them. Not that the other two games haven't been, but hopefully we play a little better schedule and be a little better team than maybe some of them they play.
Coach, looking at the first two ball games and last night going into tonight's ball game, do you prepare differently in a double weekend series? I know that we've talked about it over the past years, but with this Charger squad, have you had to do anything different preparation-wise in getting ready for this Friday, Saturday night affair?
Well, we just concentrated on West Lafayette. Of course, we didn't have a scouting report on any of the first three teams we played, so we had a scouting report on Fountain Central, and we'll see how they react to that. They don't do a lot of things, but what we should expect with their cuts, and their cuts through the middle are going to cause us some problems defensively. We're going to have to handle that. So, it'll be interesting to see how they react to a scouting report. Also be interesting to see how they react to the second game, and it shouldn't be a problem because, most of them played a half a game last night, and, maybe they'll play a half game tonight if everybody's playing well. If not, if we find 5 or 6 kids that can play and the others can't play, they should be fresh.
Mm-hmm. And looking at your squad and getting ready for that, do you change offenses at all tonight? You change defenses at all tonight from last night, since all you had was a walkthrough today to get ready for Fountain Central?
Well, we did change our press a little bit. We're just not real happy with we're happy with our press most of the time, but we're not happy with falling back into a half-court or a quarter-court defense. So we try to make some changes on the press to see how that would work. Maybe pick up the tempo and we can get back in a half-court defense a little better. And again, we just did that with a walkthrough, so you never know. The first couple times it might be kind of rough, but still people should be in the positions they would be in the half court, and maybe that'll help. We feel like it takes a little away from our press a little bit to do that because we moved BJ off the point, and he does a nice job cutting down the passing lanes and that type of thing.
Any other changes tonight strategically or any other way for North Montgomery?
No, we just want to rotate the ball. We feel like with the way they play defense, they get out and deny the wings and deny the perimeter defense, and they front the post, that if we'll rotate the ball, make our pick down and rotate the ball, we'll be able to get the ball into the paint. And we feel like we have to get the ball into the paint. We don't feel like their interior defense is very good. They're not as physical as we are, and if the officials let us play, that could be to our advantage. If they don't let us play, it could be to our detriment too. But we feel like we have to get the ball in the paint to BJ and Templeman and Gwen, and then some of our other kids are driving the paint pretty good too. So that's where we feel like the game's going to be won.
He had good high percentage shooting last night, shooting well over 50%, in fact really close to 60% from the field. And I know this morning you said that sometimes where you take your shots from in close, makes a big difference. If you can do that again tonight, things ought to look pretty good.
Well, it should. Our three-point shooting was awful last night. I think we hit 1 out of about 11 and still shot over 50% for the game. But, we got the up-tempo. If we can do that, we're going to get some layups. If our defense is playing, we're going to get some breakaway layups, and that type of thing helps. Some kids put the ball on the floor and got a 15-foot shot instead of a 19-foot shot. So we really feel like the shot selection is important. And again, they're learning that, what we want and what they can do, and, that's very important.
Coach, looking at the keys to tonight's ballgame with Fountain Central, what would they be from the Charger standpoint?
Well, I think we have to control the boards. We should be able to, I feel like that going into every ball game. Last night we got out-rebounded, but I felt like we controlled it at key times. I think we have to control the paint. They like to take the ball into the paint, too. They don't post up like we do, but they make slashing cuts and get the ball and drive the paint. So we've got to handle that. Otherwise, we're going to have reaching fouls, and we may need all 9 guys, and it could be a long ball game. So I feel like those are the 2 major things going in that we have to do.
1 down, 1 to go here at home. Good luck tonight against Fountain Central.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
We'll be back with more pregame activity from North Montgomery right after this.
Scoring possibly at halftime, maybe the end of the ball game, as I look both at over at Tom and realized that while we were listening to the coaches' interviews, we didn't run downstairs and get the JV scoring. But maybe we can flag Ron Kyle down or somebody from the north.
Maybe John Roach will show up at the game.
Possibly. We can always hope for a minion here somewhere. But anyway, North Montgomery wins at 40-32. Also, before we introduce the starting lineups, Tom, I want to remind everybody of a promotion that's been going on Central again under the direction of third-year coach Tony Coleman. 2-0 on the season. It took them 18 games last year to get to their 2-win plateau, so certainly they are a happy bunch of Mustangs coming into this ball game tonight. They'll start at the guard positions, 6'1 senior Brian Lyons and 5'11 senior Joey Schaefer. You're going to see a real difference. 5 seniors starting for Fountain Central, no seniors starting for North Montgomery tonight. Lyons is averaging about 11 points a ball game. He had 15 last night against Covington. Schaefer is averaging 4 points a game, but had double that last night against Covington. At the post will be 6'3 senior Aaron Glasscock. He is averaging 4 points a game. He also doubled that average last night against Covington in that 58-49 win. At the forwards will be Brian Peebler, 6'1 and a senior, averaging 7 points. Another player above his average, 12 points last night against the Trojans, also 4 of 4 shooting field goals. And the other starter on the forward position, 6'3 senior Adam Hoagland, averaging 8.5 points a ball game. He had 8 points against Covington. He's had a high game of 17 in the opening game win against Riverton Park. North Montgomery tonight will start at the guard, 6'0 sophomore Jason McCormick. Jason came off the bench last night, played 3 quarters in reserve, and scored 19 points. He was the high point man for the Chargers, now 1-2 on the season. His backcourt mate will be getting his first start tonight. 6'2 sophomore John Sparks had 4 points last night in North Montgomery's 77-68 win over West Lafayette. At the post for North will be 6' junior, so giving away some height on the front line, Jason Gwynn, averaging about 5 points a contest. He had only 1 2-point field goal last night against West Lafayette. And at the forwards tonight for North Montgomery, 6' sophomore Sean Ratcliffe, averaging 12 points a game. He had 15 last night. And B.J. Slicker is a 6'5 junior, averaging 17 points a ball game, but had only 4 points last night against West Lafayette. And again, Tom, looking at last night, North Montgomery got 56 of their 77 points off the bench, without a question, the main factor in last night's win. These for Liz. I got a card we got to sign, by the way, for Scott before we get out of here, and we'll get a few of the double bogey members to sign it as well. Let's get these teams out on the floor. Let's get things started here tonight. Last night, Tom, you and I were at Crawfordsville. The Athenians got out to a good start, led 12-11 at the end of the first 8 minutes of play, but really struggled, and as they shot poorly the entire rest of the ball game.
Hey, you know, that's just one of those things. I was talking to Tommy Lutz from North Montgomery about that. Crawfordsville rebounds well. They've out-rebounded both their opponents. They don't turn the ball over. Once again, 12 turnovers last night, but you can't shoot 38-40% in a game and consistently win in high school basketball.
We are at the center jump circle. The ball is up. The tip is controlled by North Montgomery. Slicker with the control, looking to catch a man breaking down the left sideline. That's Jason McCormick. McCormick, I think, thought was looking for Slicker to shoot. And
I was going to say, I think you're right. Normally in that situation, if there's not that initial pass right there, BJ was open, he would normally pop the 3.
Yeah, it's out of bounds, and the Fountain Central is on the attack. They move the ball down. They go inside. They post up, and Brian Lyons goes into the middle, so he penetrates from a guard position and scores the first bucket of the ball game to give Fountain Central a 2-0 lead. North Montgomery gets down in transition very quickly. They get a shot up, but we're going to go to the free throw line for the first time, as Fountain Central is guilty of the first foul of the contest.
Just one of those things. North Montgomery got the outlet pass just like they wanted. Get it out. They drive the baseline very quickly. Good job of drawing the initial contact, and the foul will be on Adam Hoagland.
My bad. Sean Ratcliffe, I thought, was fouled in the act of shooting. He was not. Hoagland picks up his first, and the Chargers will play it in. They're trying to post up Slicker. He's triple teamed on the low block. Gives it back to McCormick. Shot up inside the lane. Good. Jason McCormick, the hot hand last night with 19, starts things off for North Montgomery with the first basket for the Chargers. Here we played 30 seconds. We're tied at deuce, and now North forces a turnover. Bad pass. Here's McCormick on the attempted layup. It's no good. The shot hits the bottom of the iron, and the rebound is pulled down by Lyons for Fountain Central. Again, I want to welcome all of the Fountain Central fans listening tonight on 103.9 WIMC. We hope you enjoy our coverage here of the Mustangs. On the attack, this is Schaefer on the dribble. High post, goes right wing on a pass on a skip side, goes to Hoagland. Back on top, the Mustangs reload the offense as Brian Lyons gets his hands on the ball. North Montgomery man-to-man defensively down on the far end of the floor. Inside pass, goes into Glasscock. Shot up, no good. Rebound tipped away. Here's the rebound. It's to McCormick. North Montgomery's on the move. Here's a shot up by Ratcliffe. It's off the iron, no good. The offensive rebound is grabbed by Gwynn. He lays it up for the garbage basket for two. Offensive rebound and a putback basket by Jason Gwynn gives North Montgomery their first lead of the contest. We played a minute and a half. It's 4-2 North Montgomery. And now Fountain Central, in trying to get into transition, gets going too fast and travel with the basketball.
Fountain Central's got to watch that. They don't have the speed. They don't have the quickness that North does. They aren't going to be able to get into a running game with North Montgomery because they just can. They're going to turn the ball over.
That is what Coach Coleman said in that pregame interview. He said, hey, we cannot run with this team. We've got to be patient on offense. Coach Young said the same thing. He said, we want to get this thing going as quickly as possible. North Montgomery bringing the ball into the front court. Ball tipped around, touched twice, as he eventually goes out of bounds into Coach Coleman's hands. He wanted to give it to his own guy. It's going to go to North.
I think Tony Coleman wanted a travel, calling the North players. He skipped trying to save the ball. But that's what Fountain Central does. They step in front of those passing lanes like they did just there. And kick things going their way offensively.
Gwynn was looking to get the ball inside to Slicker. It's intercepted on the front court by Lyons, and here comes the Fountain Central on the attack. On the high right wing, Brian Peever takes one dribble, gives it up. Man-to-man coverage again defensively by North. Giving it off around the wheel. The pass goes right side off to Hoagland, outside the three-point ring right side. Back on top, they work it on to Schaefer. Schaefer dribbles right, covered by McCormick. Into the lane, we've got a whistle carrying the ball. I thought maybe we were going to get a hand check on McCormick, and instead it's going to be a turnover on Fountain Central.
That's their third to go against the two turnovers so far for North Montgomery. B.J. Slicker doing an excellent job, Jeff, on Aaron Glasscock of denying him the ball, not allowing that inlet pass to come in.
We played 2 minutes of the first quarter. North leads 4-2. The halftime score of the JV game was 8-6. North Montgomery had the lead, so we may have an awfully low-scoring affair here at the Chargers gym. The Chargers nearly lose control of the ball. They go back to midcourt to flag it down with the basketball. Sparks resets the offense, and then as the North redistributes their people offensively, somebody travels with a basketball, and North will turn it over. So we played about 2.5 minutes, and we've got only 3 baskets to show for it.
Early in the last couple of games, when North has gotten this helter-skelter on offense, you'll see John Sparks come off the bench and run the things, and he just kind of has a settling force on the offensive flow.
Well, he had to settle things quickly because he started tonight, and he got a pass over the top of him as the pass goes inbounds to Aaron Glasscock, and he lays it up to tie our score at 4. So we played just at 3 minutes now, and North Montgomery again with trouble handling the ball. A pass intended for Sean Ratcliffe is tipped away, and a good defensive play by Hoagland off the fingertips of North, and it is Fountain Central ball.
And I don't think anyone really realized that the official was pointing that was Fountain Central ball, and it's an excellent job. Hoagland tipped it, and it went off of, I believe,
it went off Ratcliffe's
fingertips, and Ratcliffe's not arguing, although the North fans are.
No, and Coach Young got an explanation from the referee, and he sat right back down. So the referee had a good, clear call at it. We had a pretty good look at it up here as well. Right now, 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Again, tied at 4. Helter-skelter play. Both teams really having problems with some butterfingers. Another turnover by Fountain Central.
Jeff, we played less than 3 minutes of this game, and the two teams have combined now for 8 turnovers.
Yeah.
And they've also combined to take 7 shots.
Ugly. McCormick with a basketball for North Montgomery. High wing on the left side near the center jump circle. Gives it off to Ratcliffe, who resets the offense by giving it to Sparks. Sparks is in the center jump circle. Goes right side on a pass to Ratcliffe. Stops his dribble after a couple of bounces. Goes back left side. Here's Sparks. Sparks puts it on the floor. Heads to the basket. He's going to be fouled. It'll be North Montgomery ball underneath after the basket by after the foul, by Joey Schaefer, his first.
Yeah, the foul is going to be called Joey Schaefer. For a second there, I thought they were going to call it. I had my numbers mixed up. I thought they were going to call it Adam Hoagland, which would have been his second. But here we see, look at Fountain Central just step up that defense. They've got a hand in your face. They're hand checking very well. They're doing it. It's a clean defense, but it's very aggressive. And North will not see this very many times during the course of the season.
Man-to-man defensive pressure in your face. Sparks, though, finds Jason McCormick flashing open, who got loose from his man. McCormick gets the second bucket of the ball game to give North the lead back at 6-4. 4:25 to play in the first quarter. Again, a quickly played, very defensively oriented, but sloppily handled ball game here early on at North Montgomery. Fountain Central with a basketball. Peevler, a couple dribbles, goes deep into the left corner, off to Hoagland. Hoagland doesn't have a shot in the corner and gives it back on top to quarterback of the offense, basically, Brian Lyons. He resets, reloads, goes left side to Schaefer. Bounce pass around the top of the wheel, goes to Glasscock inside. Flashing open shot up by Schaefer, no good. Tipped around, no good by Glasscock. And the Mustangs have it offensively. Back down to the blocks. Here's a layup off the glass. It's no good by Hoagland. Another tip up by Hoagland's no good. And we're going to have a whistle and a foul on North Montgomery. Jason Gwynn's going to get the foul, but Fountain Central did a great job, Tom, of keeping the ball alive, tipping the ball up and down a couple of times. Although they didn't get the shot to fall, they are going to send shooters to the free throw line.
Hey, this actually Fountain Central reminiscent a little bit of Crawfordsville in the first quarter last night. Get into the offensive glass, knowing that they're not shooting well, maybe not taking care of the ball as well as they want to, but giving themselves multiple opportunities every time down the floor by hitting the offensive glass and also by missing free throws.
And by missing free throws. Hoagland misses his first. We have seen lots and lots of missed free throws in the opening 6 or 7 games of our basketball coverage here on WIMC and WCVL. Both teams we've been covering have been struggling. Hoagland connects on his second free throw on the 2-shot infraction. He has his first point of the ballgame at 6-5, 3:42 to go in the first quarter. North with the lead in the basketball. On the dribble, Ratcliffe stops deep in the right corner, looking for somebody to get open. Gwynn finally does. High right wing, puts it on the floor once, stops. He's guarded now defensively by Glasscock. Open underneath for a second. This is going to be Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe's going to be fouled as he goes to the basket, and Ratcliffe, I believe, will be shooting 2.
They should be shooting 2. North Montgomery spacing a little bit askew right now, Jeff, as they got 3 guys standing on that far sideline within about 6 feet of each other, and no dribble. And the dribble had been picked up by Jason Gwynn. Nowhere to go, and you can't really pass it because you got 3 defenders right there. Good job, smart job for North Montgomery by Sean Ratcliffe to just break for the basket and allow a little lob pass over the top.
The last basket scored by North Montgomery by Jason McCormick was the same way, Tom. He just managed to find a cutter, find himself open for a split second and got open and got hit with a nice pass and got the layup. Ratcliffe hits 1, then he hits 2. North Montgomery extends their lead, biggest of the ball game thus far, to 8-5. 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Fountain Central on the attack. We use that term kind of loosely because they really like to put a lot of fingerprints on the ball on every possession. Top of the circle, this is Schaefer. Gets off a screen, doesn't shoot, goes down to the baseline. Here's Lyons. He will. It's off the glass. It's good. Second basket of the ball game for the 6'1 senior Brian Lyons. He pulls Fountain Central back to within 1 at midcourt. Fountain Central looking to maybe up tempo it a little bit and confuse the North offense. They tip the ball back into the scorer's bench, and they'll stop the clock with 3:06 to go. A couple subs in for Fountain Central. We see Chip Fischerow, 6'1 junior, in for the first time. He had 5 points last night. He made the only 3-point field goal of last night's entire ball game between Fountain Central and Covington. And also checking in, I believe, I got to look down. Okay, thank you. That is number 40, 6'1 senior Kirk Ritchie. And Jason McCormick on the out-of-bounds play comes down, gets off a screen, puts up a nice shot on the wing, and nails his 3rd bucket of the ball game. So again, continuing his hot shooting after 19 last night, he has 6, and North has a 3-point lead. 2:40 to go in the first quarter. Fountain Central back on the attack with the ball. Chip Fischerow. Right side pass goes over to Schaefer. Schaefer puts it in one hand, then the other. Still on the dribble. Into the lane. Kicks it back on top to Fischerow. Fischerow won't shoot. Down deep into the left corner. He'll give it off, and his shot will go down by Aaron Glasscock. So Glasscock, the 6'3 senior, has his 2nd bucket of the night. That pulls Fountain Central back to within 1. 10-9's our score. B.J. Slicker. There's a name we haven't called much offensively thus far. Flags it down inside. Gwynn's shot blocked from behind. Good block shot by Glasscock, and Fountain Central has the basketball. They can take their first lead of the game if they can convert on this trip down the floor. With the basketball into the center jump circle. Now into the front court goes senior Joey Schaefer. 2:01, 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Again, 10-9 our score. We're going to get a little action off the North bench at the next dead ball. There's a lob pass for Glasscock going down on the baseline, looking for and getting it to Kirk Ritchie. Ritchie's shot would have counted had there not been the violation.
Yeah, Kevin Templeman's going to come in for the Chargers, and Jason Gwynn is going to sit down. And, that's, look at another person who's come off the bench for the Chargers and played very well last night in the game. Kevin Templeman had 14 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 4 of 5 at the line.
The 6'1 sophomore came in and did a yeoman effort off the bench. As we noted, North Montgomery had 56 points off the bench last night in their win over West Side. Under 2 minutes to go. Slicker looking inside, has a man open for a moment. Here's a shot up by Templeman, tipped from behind by Glasscock, and it goes away and controlled finally by Fountain Central. I'll take that back. It was actually not tipped by Glasscock. It was tipped by Ritchie. Fountain Central now can't hang on to the ball as they move into their offensive end of the floor. A pass from Schaefer intended for Fishrow, just had too much gas on it, Tom, and ended up out in the lobby.
That's the 6th turnover now by Fountain Central in the first quarter. 10 combined between the two teams now. But right now, both teams shooting pretty well. Fountain Central 4 of 7, North 4 of 8.
Well, when they're getting the ball down and hanging on to it, they're doing a pretty good job offensively. But both teams really struggling here to hang on to the ball as another pass is tipped out of bounds. Some of these out-of-bounds plays for North Montgomery, Tom, I will credit Fountain Central's defense. They are really hawking the ball. They are man-to-man in everybody's face somewhere. Here's a lob pass on the out-of-bounds play into Jason McCormick. McCormick shot up off the side of the iron, no good. McCormick's got his own rebound. The ball tipped away. It's controlled finally by Templeman. Out to Slicker. Long three, good. On the high left wing, B.J. Slicker has his first shot, I believe, of the ball game. It's his first points, I know, and that gives North a 4-point lead, 13-9 with 1 minute to go, and the clock running here in the first quarter at North Montgomery with a basketball. Here is Fischerow into the lane. Left-hand hook shot is no good, and the traveling violation, turnover number 7 in the first quarter against Fountain Central, will send Coach Tony Coleman back to the bench. He's going to send his starting point guard, Brian Lyons, back in the ball game.
You know, Tony Coleman, if you look at it, you don't want to be a team that you have as many turnovers as you do shot attempts. They are 4 of 7 from the field. They have the 7 turnovers, but you're still only trailing by 4 points.
Boy, it's first quarter that only a mother could love so far, 13-9 with under a minute to go. And guess what? Another turnover. Check that. We have the out front referee overruled the underneath referee. The referee underneath said that it was a turnover, bad pass by North. The out front referee said no, Fountain Central had tipped it, so the Chargers get a break and they'll play it in. Lob pass inside goes from Sparks down into the corner. Here is Sparks getting a return pass from Templeman. Onto the floor. Here's a dribble by Ratcliffe. Looking inside, gets the ball into Templeman. Templeman post up from the blocks, 8 feet, right side, no good. Ball tipped around, finally controlled, and stolen by Slicker, and Slicker lays it up for 2. Hoagland had the rebound. Slicker took it literally right out of his hands underneath the bucket and laid it up for his second bucket of the ball game and give North a 15-9 lead with 20 seconds to go here in the first quarter play. Hoagland high left wing from Fountain Central gives it off to Lyons. Lyons doesn't shoot, kicks it on the left side off to Ritchie. Down to 10 seconds. Here we go for the final shot of the first quarter. On top, Schaefer with a basketball. Clock moving. 7, 6, 5. Lyons high left side. Right moves right, I should say. Puts a shot up. It's off the iron. No good. Slicker with the rebound. Throws it the length of the floor. And in desperation, it lands about 10 feet short of the iron and hits the back wall as the buzzer sounds. North Montgomery has never trailed, and they lead at the end of 1. Our score 15-9. The Chargers over the Mustangs, and we'll be back with second quarter action after this.
Who need them? Personal Finance, downtown Crawfordsville. And Eder Ford Mercury, Darlington Avenue, Crawfordsville. Trade better, see Eder. Stop by today and see the Ford Contours.
Just back to action in the second quarter here at North Montgomery High School on 103.9 WIMC out of Crawfordsville. We'll have a foul in the front court. Let's get some Tom Coyle first quarter stats.
Sure, the foul's going to be on Craig Edwards for North. That's the team second and his first. Fountain Central in the first quarter, 4 of 8 shooting, 1 of 2 at the line. They out-rebounded the Chargers 7-4 and led the turnover margin 8-4.
All right, back to action. Fountain Central trailing by 6 points, 15-9. They have the ball in the front court. Again, a very, very patient offense being run here by Coach Coleman and his Mustang squad decked out in their traveling blue uniforms. With the ball on the floor, here's Peebler inside the lane. He works, fires, shot up and down. Ryan Peebler has his first bucket of the ball game. Fountain Central's into double digits. North on the fly. Here's a three-point shot up and no good by Tyler Fuller, who also started this second quarter play as Coach Young went to the bench for a couple of guys, bringing in Craig Edwards, a 6-foot junior, and 6-foot senior Tyler Fuller. Now into transition. Here's a running shot up and down by Joey Schaefer. Joey Schaefer has his first bucket of the ball game. It's 15-13. Here's a running shot up, no good by Jason McCormick. The ball is loose. It's going to go out of bounds. We'll give the team rebound to North Montgomery as bodies fly out of bounds.
Things a little bit helter-skelter. North is just coming down, and they want to do that. But what happened last week in their 2 games was those shots that they were taking on the fast break were layups. Right now, they're coming out of the baseline and popping anywhere from about an 8 to to a 15-footer. And if you don't have that, you don't have a rebounder, maybe it's better to hold back up and run your offense.
Joey Schaefer left a little bit of skin, I think, as he tried to slide out of bounds and trying to save the ball. North Montgomery plays it in with a basketball. Templeman, top of the circle, gives it off now on a skip pass right side, works it over to Edwards. Edwards puts it on the floor, gets rid of it off to McCormick. McCormick, high left wing, dribbles into traffic, stops, bad pass, intercepted by Fountain Central. Hoagland has it. Hoagland to the other side, shot up off the glass, rolls around the iron 3 times, and falls in. Hoagland's first field goal of the ball game. Coach Young, angry up off the bench, he calls timeout. North Montgomery tied now after 6 straight points by Fountain Central on the floor. It is timeout North Montgomery. We're back after this.
Okay.
Hollering from our press vantage point on the opposite end of the floor, you know that Coach Dave Young is not a happy camper.
Well, right now, we talked about it. Their shot selection is not good. If the break's not there, they've got to be smart enough to go back out. In the meantime, Fountain Central is the team that's converting. They've converted the 1 North turnover, and Fountain Central is not committed to turnover yet, and they've converted. They've hit all 3 shots they've taken this quarter, hit 5 of their last 6.
The Chargers put the ball in play after the timeout. We're tied here at 15 after North Montgomery has literally squandered a 6-point lead with a basketball. Slicker in the front court. Ball on the floor, left hand. Bad pass in the middle. Looking for a cutter. Can't get to it. It's intercepted by Fountain Central's Adam Hoagland. Then it's tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Tyler Fuller, and it'll be Mustang basketball. If they can convert on this trip down the floor, they will take their second lead of the ball game. I think I said first earlier, they scored the first basket of the contest to lead 2-0. 6:14 to go in the second quarter. Tied at 15. Fountain Central ball. 12-foot shot on the left wing. It's up and down. No good. As Glasscock, the rebound pulled down by North Montgomery. The Chargers on the move. For the basketball, here's Edwards. Edwards looks to Slicker. Gets it to him on the high right post. Slicker looks inside. Hasn't used the dribble. Passes it off on the right side. On the wing it goes Templeman down inside looking for Fuller. Pass intercepted by Fountain Central. And Brian Peevler falls down with the basketball. And that's an automatic traveling call in high school basketball.
That's right. It's different from maybe the pro rules where you can fall down with the ball. It's just a quick turnover one way and turnover right back the other way. Jack Whitecotton is going to step in for the Chargers for the first time tonight. And he's another one of those players who's come off the bench and put good, solid numbers up for Dave Young.
6'2 sophomore scored 7 points last night. Also had 7 points against Seeger in the first game of the season. Seeing his first varsity action tonight, as Tom mentioned. He has his hands on the basketball. Pass out on the front court intended for Fuller is tipped out of bounds by Fountain Central. So again, they're diving for the loose balls, diving for the tip passes. Hoagland goes face first into the bleachers on the far side of the floor. He picks himself back up, and Fountain Central, as they have all night long, playing a hawking man-to-man defense here at North Montgomery. Tied at 15, 5:44 to go. Here's a bad pass intercepted by Hoagland. Hoagland's all by himself. He lays it up, tries to dunk the ball, but lays it up over the glass anyway for 2. Hoagland's got 5, and Fountain Central has scored 8 in a row. They take a 17-15 lead with 5:30 to go in the first half. Fuller on the ball. Dribbles on the right side, now passes on the wing off to Edwards. Edwards looks for a cutter after stopping his dribble. Loud pass inside is intercepted, tossed away. Whitecotton can't get to it. A great save individually by Peevler, and Fountain Central has it. 5th turnover
of the quarter, and we played less than 3 minutes in this quarter.
For North Montgomery on the attack. Here's Lyons, rolls off a pick, shot up from 12 feet, left side, no good. Ball loose, still controlled down by Fountain Central. Get a number down there. That's going to be Peevler. Peevler picks up the loose ball, and he is fouled as he goes to the basket. So we'll stop the clock with 5:03 to go in the second quarter and send Fountain Central to the free throw line where they can extend to their 2-point lead. The foul will go on Tyler Fuller. It'll be his first, 3rd team foul here, and a very lightly foul called first half of play. Again, if you are doing some channel surfing, you may be tuning in and around or looking for other things as well on 1550 WCVL, our sister station on the AM side. You can pick up the Purdue Boilermakers broadcast as they are out at James Madison. First free throw up and down, and second free throw also good for the 6'1 senior Brian Peevler. 4 points on the game, 19 now for Fountain Central. They have scored the last 10 points, and now North Montgomery throws the ball away again.
Dave Young looking down his bench right now, Jeff. I'm not sure if he knows what to do, who he can really go to at this point.
He doesn't know either. He's called timeout. He has used 2 timeouts here in the second quarter, as North Montgomery has been stuck on 15 since the end of the first quarter. They are scoreless in 3 minutes here of the second quarter play. We'll take a break from North Montgomery and be back after this.
4:56 left to go. Dave Young has had to use his second timeout of this quarter. The North Montgomery Chargers had a 15-9 lead at the end of the first quarter, and right now they have given up 10 straight points. They trail 19-15. The Chargers, Jeff, last week against Central Catholic, after being up 26-17 and then 20 at the end of the first quarter, and then scoring the first points to go up 28-17, scored only 2 more points in the remainder of that, in the last 7 minutes of that second quarter.
So the second quarter for the Chargers has certainly not been a very good one. I know that against Seeger, they did not have all that productive a second quarter as well, as Fountain Central plays it in after the timeout. Here's a rolling shot up, no good by Peebler. Whistle, we got a foul on the rebound. We'll check the call in just a second. In the second quarter against Seeger, in the opening game of the season, North Montgomery scored 16 points in the second quarter. The foul on Fountain Central will go on number 20, Brian Lyons, excuse me. It is his first and the 4th team foul. So 4 different starters for Tony Coleman's Mustangs. Each have 1 foul, and that's it so far on the calls. North Montgomery tries to break the trap at midcourt. They do so. Here's a shot up and good for 3 points by Kevin Templeman. Tom, that one was a flat shot. I was beginning to think maybe it was a pass, but I don't know if the basket got in the way or not, but Templeman's got his first points of the game.
Kevin Templeman, not what you think of as a 3-point shooter. He is a linebacker after all, and did a good job of just squaring up and getting it down.
Fountain Central moves down, and they go inside as senior Aaron Glasscock posts up, gets his bucket over the extended defense of Slicker, and then North Montgomery, after the made a basket by Fountain Central, travels with the basketball, bringing the ball back in play. North trails 21-18. They're back on D. Fountain Central will play it in underneath their own basket. Lyons, lob pass out on top, gets the ball into play, setting up the offense to Schaefer. Schaefer going inside. He's got Lyons flashing open. We got a whistle. We got a contact foul away from the action. We'll get the check on this again with 4:06 to go here in the second quarter. The foul on number 33, White. That's Jack White-Cotton. It is his first, team 4th.
I was going to say, and if you look at the scorebook, Jeff, or if you look at the rosters and you look at these 2 teams, there's only been 1 junior who has played for this Fountain Central team. The other 7 guys who have come out on this floor have all been seniors, and that's just something Tony Coleman has got these guys doing exactly what he wants them to do, and they are just frustrating North offensively.
Well, and they frustrate him offensively. Now the other side as Adam Hoagland rolls off a pick on the out-of-bounds play and lays it up for his 3rd bucket of this quarter. He's got 7 points overall. 23-18 is our score. Here's a 3-point shot up for North Montgomery. Shot by Ratcliffe is off the iron, no good. The rebound pulled down by Peebler of Fountain Central, and with 3:45 to go in the second quarter and the clock moving, Fountain Central moves into the attack zone. It has been a second quarter dominated completely by Fountain Central, except for one tray. And the Chargers are scoreless. Now, flashing open to the baseline, Brian Peebler gets a great pass from Schaefer, and he'll lay it up for yet another bucket, 25-18. 6 points in all in this quarter for Peebler, as B.J. Slicker comes down, sets up quickly, and launches a 3. He's got 2 trays on the night to make it 25-21.
B.J. Slicker, Jeff, 3 out of 3 from the field right now.
And Slicker nearly engineers a steal at midcourt. The pass is tipped away by Slicker, but it's flagged down by Lyons. Here's a long cross-court pass, grabbed by Schaefer. Schaefer left side goes back to Lyons, down on the block. Here's a post-up shot. Rolling hook is up and down, and good for Adam Hoagland. Hoagland with a hot hand this quarter. 8 on this quarter, 9 for the ball game, 27-21. Slicker is down into the offensive end. He is fouled as he goes to the basket. It'll be a non-shooting foul, and North Montgomery will play it in.
Right now, you're seeing B.J. Slicker probably is animated and is active on the floor defensively, as you've probably seen him in the first 3 games this year. He's scrambling. He's trying to create problems. He's trying to do to Fountain Central what Fountain Central has been doing to them.
Brian Lyons picks up his second personal foul. North Montgomery rotates Kevin Templeman back in the ballgame. Also, Jason McCormick is back in the contest. And flagging the pass in will be John Sparks, so 3 subs in for Coach Young. Sparks gets the return pass after starting the out-of-bounds play. Going inside, here's Templeman. He'll post up, shot off the iron, no good. He gets his own rebound, puts it up hard, and he's fouled. He'll go to the basket, or go to the line for a couple of free throw opportunities. Good hard offensive rebound that time by North Montgomery, Tom, and they'll go to the line for a couple of tosses.
Yeah, Fountain Central, Jeff, right now just shooting lights out. They are now 8 out of 11 in this quarter, now shooting 12 out of 19 from the field. And I know know a coach down in Crawfordsville who wouldn't mind having this kind of shooting, some of it come his way.
Well, a coach down in Crawfordsville is probably sitting up here in the stands somewhere, unless his flu bug got the best of him. I know that Coach Acton was really not feeling well through the course of the tail end of this week. Didn't feel well again this morning at the Boys and Girls Club. But you're right. He'd give big money for one of those shooters. Kevin Templeman at the free throw line hits both free throws to keep North close. It's 27-23. 2:30 to go in the first half. Fountain Central down into the attack zone. Turnaround post-up shot by Kirk Ritchie is good. First points off the bench for Fountain Central. Makes it 29-23. 2:22 to go. Clock counting. Slicker on the attack into the lane. Shot up on the baseline. No good. Off the back of the iron. Whistle. Rebound foul is going to go against North Montgomery. And Kevin Templeman will pick up his first personal foul.
Kevin Templeman just did a little bit of pushing off, trying to get the rebound away from Joey Schaefer. And they're just, right now, I'm amazed from seeing Fountain Central last year and seeing them now. Their passes are crisp. They know exactly where to go. They're running the offense perfectly. They know exactly who's going to cut when and where. They're making perfect back cuts, and they're hitting the easy shots.
I would think that Coach Coleman may have gone to boot camp for a part of the summer. Boy, he has instilled some serious discipline in this offense. They really do a nice job passing the ball around, extremely patient, taking only what's been given to them, and they take another one away from North Montgomery as Aaron Glasscock just goes down to the blocks, calmly turns around, posts up a shot over Slicker. He's now got 8 points on the game, and it's 31-23. As McCormick brings the ball down, he goes into the lane very quickly, gets the shot up, it's down, it's going to count, and Jason McCormick has his first points of this quarter, 8 overall, and he'll go to the free throw line for a three-point play opportunity.
Good job by Jason McCormick of leaning in a little bit on that shot, enough to draw the contact, something that we talked about in the Crawfordsville game last night. They'd like to see some of those Crawfordsville players do when they get inside. At least draw some contact, so if you miss the shot, at least you're going to get yourself to the line. Jason made the shot, and he's going to get himself to the line for a chance for a three-point play.
Jeremy Allen will check in for Joey Schaefer, who picked up that second foul. Allen's a 6-foot junior, seeing his first action of the night. Free throw up, rolls around the iron, and falls down for McCormick. 9 on the night, 26 points now for North Montgomery. They trail by 5 here with 1:40 to go in the first half. Chargers fall back into a zone defensively as Allen brings the ball up for Fountain Central. Left side down deep into the corner. Here's a pass to Fischerow. Up on top it goes. Around the wheel to Hoagland. Back down deep left side to Fischerow one more time. Cross-court pass to Allen. Allen puts it on the floor. Again, Fountain Central with enormous, amazing patience offensively. Touch pass, another touch pass down the corner. Here's a three-point shot up. It's no good. That shot was by Chip Fischerow. The ball is loose. And finally, it's controlled by North Montgomery. Jason McCormick's got the D rebound. Quick pass off to Slicker. Down to the block. Here's Ratcliffe. Shot is blocked. We're going to have a jump ball.
Just a great job. And, you know, one thing that you talk about Fountain Central offensively, Jeff, and we talk about how well they move the ball. Here's a team that with not great size. A lot of guys who are about 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", but no big, massive guy inside. We're talking about a team that maybe takes 1 or 2 three-point shots in an entire game.
Glasscock got the block. The alternating jump arrow goes in favor of North Montgomery. They'll play it in again after that block shot. We're under a minute to go. Here's a three-point shot on the out-of-bounds play by Slicker. Good. 4 for 4 from the field. B.J. Slicker, 3 threes and a deuce. It's 31-29. You wouldn't think North would be this close for the way Fountain Central, as well as Fountain Central, has played this basketball game. But the trays have been the difference for North Montgomery. They've hit a bunch. We'll get our halftime stats coming up in just a few seconds. On the high right wing, Jeremy Allen, double team, gets rid of the ball. Goes on the left side pass off to Hoagland. Hoagland gives it away down deep in the left corner off to Fischerow. Fischerow, who attempted a three-point shot at the last trip down the floor, gives the ball back off to Allen. High right wing. We're down to 20 seconds to go. Coach Coleman says we'll go for one. Back it goes to Hoagland. Top of the circle left side. Skip pass down on the blocks. It goes off to Fischerow. Down on top, or back up on top. It goes off to Hoagland. We're down to 10 seconds. 9, 8, and now Slicker forces a turnover. B.J. Slicker with good defensive pressure out in front forced a bad pass by Hoagland. It goes out of bounds into midcourt, and the Chargers will have it.
10th turnover of the game for Fountain Central, but only the second here in the second quarter.
Slicker plays it in. Here's a cutter open. Can't get the shot away. In fact, can't control the ball in time to get the shot. as Sean Ratcliffe had the ball off his fingertips, just like a wide receiver. It tipped off and the pass was incomplete, if you will. Fountain Central will get the last opportunity. If they can, they'll move it into Fishrow. Top of the circle, jump shot, no good. Offensive rebound is put up and down by Aaron Glasscock. Nobody blocked out for North Montgomery, and Aaron Glasscock tips the ball back in for his 10th point of the ball game to give Fountain Central the emotional lift and a little bit of momentum going into the halftime locker room. The Mustangs lead North Montgomery 33-29 at the halftime break. We'll be back with scoring and stats right after this.
The North Montgomery
Bank, first of all, for Fountain Central, only one player in double figures. Aaron Glasscock, the 6'3 senior, has 5 two-point field goals, 2 in the first quarter, 3 in the second, for a total of 10. He is followed right behind, though, by 6'3 senior forward Adam Hoagland, who had 4 field goals all in the second quarter and a free throw in the first to tally a total of 9 points for the Mustangs, who lead 33-29 here at the intermission. Then the scoring drops off a bit for Fountain Central. Next up is 6'1 senior Brian Peebler. He has 6 points all scored in the second quarter. Brian Lyons has 4. Joey Schaefer has 2, and Kirk Ritchie also has 2 for Fountain Central. They trailed 15-9 at the end of the first quarter, then scored the first 10 points of the second quarter. It cost Coach Dave Young of North Montgomery 2 timeouts to get the bleeding stop before they finally got a 3-point play opportunity and stopped the run at that 10-point mark. Again, 33-29 is our halftime score. Right after this from National City Bank, we'll be back with North Montgomery's halftime scoring tallies.
National City Bank.
In the first half, again trailing 33-29 at the break. That's B.J. Slicker, 6'5 junior, with 3 three-point field goals and a deuce. He was 4 for 4, I believe, from the field for the ball game. 4 for 5, Tom says. Thank you, as he's finishing up his halftime stats, which we'll have in just a moment. But anyway, Slicker finishes with a total of 11 first half points. Jason McCormick had 6 points in the first quarter, 3 in the second, for a total of 9. Second high scoring honors for North Montgomery, trailing by 4 points. Next up is 6'1 sophomore Kevin Templeman, 5 points off the bench, as that's all the bench scoring that North Montgomery has gotten thus far tonight. Jason Gwynn has a bucket, and Sean Ratcliffe has 2 first quarter free throws for North Montgomery's total of 29. The Chargers trail Fountain Central here at the break, 33-29. We'll be back with Tom Coyle on the halftime stats right after this.
10 out of 21 from the field, 48%, including 4 of 9 in that second quarter for 44%. They hit 4 out of their 6 three-point shots. They were 3 out of 5 in that second quarter, hit all 5 free throw attempts in the first half, were out-rebounded by 12-9 margin. They were able to grab 3 of those offensive boards and were only able to put 1 of those back in. They had 11 turnovers in that first quarter, but more importantly, 7 of those came in the second quarter. B.J. Slicker, as we mentioned, 4 out of 5 from the field. He is perfect. 3 out of 3 behind the three-point arc. He has a rebound. Jason McCormick, 4 out of 7 from the field. His 4 rebounds lead the way for the Chargers.
Just anything. I'm just not exactly sure if I can put my finger on where this game has come and gone. Free Christmas tree at Berg Warner Nursery in Liston. So we certainly encourage you to do that. If you've got your tree, bring some canned goods and some non-perishable goods out to the radio station. Get a certificate for a free tree, and then give the certificate away. Do double good at this Christmas holiday season. Make yourself feel real good. Tom, you promised me a little insight into that first half.
I really think, it all comes down to Fountain Central defense. When Fountain Central stepped up its defense. We talked about it. They turned up that notch when they need to. They did it early in the second quarter. It got North Montgomery reeling. It took North really until B.J. Slicker, with about 2.5 minutes to go in the half, kind of stepped it up defensively himself. You saw him scrambling, trying to tip the ball away, trying to intercept some passes. That's when B.J. works defensively, he becomes that much more efficient offensively.
All right, we are just about ready to start the third quarter play here at North Montgomery High School. Again, you are listening to high school basketball action on 103.9 WIMC. Along with Tom Coyle, I am Jeff Nelson. Certainly glad to have you along tonight here for the second of doubleheader action for this week. North Montgomery won last night here at home on 103.9, defeating West Lafayette for their first win of the season, 77-68. They trail, though, at halftime here as we just start the third quarter. Our score here, 33-29, and Fountain Central puts the ball in play to start the third quarter, and then they travel with the basketball. Tom, we really had spurts of turnovers in the first half, and then we had long periods where neither team had any turnovers.
That's right, and I really guess I don't have an answer for that, except that I think John Sparks was really taken out of sync by this Fountain Central defense, and he just hasn't recovered, and that's why I think North had so many turnovers in the second quarter.
Well, and North adds one more in the third quarter. A long pass is intercepted by the Mustangs. They bring the ball back into their offensive end of the floor. We played 30 seconds of the third quarter. No scoring as of yet. The Mustangs on the attack on the high left wing. Schaefer's got it. Gives the ball away on top. Back to the return pass. Goes inside now to Glasscock. Glasscock posts a shot up over Slicker. It's no good. The rebound is pulled down by North Montgomery. Jason Gwynn's got the D rebound. He gives the ball off to Sparks, who brings the ball on the left-hand dribble into the front court. Sparks stops his dribble. Goes right side to Slicker. Slicker now tries to move down and get posted up. He does so. He gets the ball on a return pass from Ratcliffe, and then he'll be tapped on the hand from behind, and Fountain Central will pick up the foul here just a minute into the third quarter.
It seems like North Montgomery seemed to realize as we went through towards the end of the second quarter and we come out now that the way to beat a team that passes crisply and who is tough defensively is you have to do the same thing. You must make sharp cuts. You must run your offense the way it's designed, and that's what North is doing right now.
Second foul of the ball game on Peaver, and Peevler with an L, and Fountain Central falls back. They've been playing man-to-man defense all night. A common foul, not in the shooting variety. The Chargers play it in with a basketball down deep into the right corner. This is Jason McCormick. McCormick puts it on the floor once, gives the ball off to Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe with a couple of bounces, then gives his dribble away. Looking for a cutter underneath. He finds McCormick. McCormick posts up and scores. Jason McCormick, again, 19 points last night. It's in double figures right now. North back to within 2. After trailing by as many as 7 points in the contest, 25-18, the biggest margin. They're now trailing only by 2 points, 33-31. Fountain Central with a basketball. North falls into a zone defense here on the near side of the floor beneath our broadcast position. Down into the left corner. Adam Hoagland's got the ball. Long cross-court pass goes high top to Brian Lyons. Back it comes. Off to Hoagland. He'll fire a 3 deep in the corner. No good. Offensive rebound is grabbed by Fountain Central, and Aaron Glasscock will go to the free throw line for 2 free throws as he is fouled in the act of putting the offensive rebound back up by B.J. Slicker.
I'm a little bit interested. Adam Hoagland stood out here about 8 feet from the basket with nobody guarding him, waiting for someone to come back and get the ball. He was on the baseline. He was wide open. He didn't do anything. He kicked the ball back out. They reversed it. They brought it back around to him. First thing he did was fire up a 3 from the same end of the floor. And if I'm Tony Coleman, I guess I'm wondering a little bit why you give up a little 8-footer and you go and shoot the 25-footer.
Back it up to about the deep corner of the end zone, so to speak. Anyway, Glasscock did a nice job of hitting the offensive boards. He's at the free throw line and connects on his first free throw opportunity of the night to give him 11 points. He had 10 points, obviously, in the first half to lead the scoring for Fountain Central. Second free throw rims around, no good. Slicker hauls it down. He has trouble handling it, has it tipped out of his hands, and it'll be white basketball. Slicker had it tipped away by Brian Peevler. Peevler couldn't get back inbounds and grab the ball again before the ball hit the baseline and gave it back to North Montgomery. Slicker will trigger it in by passing the ball to Gwynn. Gwynn will give it off to McCormick. McCormick to the front zone. 2 minutes played in the third quarter. North trails by 3 points. Down to the left block. Shot up and down for John Sparks. Sparks had 4 last night. He's got 2 tonight, and we are tied North is within 1. 34-33 is our score. Fountain Central's got the basketball. Looking at a three-point shot. Lyons doesn't shoot, gives it off to Hoagland, who has shot once from there just a few minutes ago. He'll go cross court on the pass to Schaefer. Back around the wheel. They work. Here's a shot up by Hoagland. No good. The shot will count, and he'll go to the line for a three-point play opportunity as he is fouled in the act of shooting. So once again, Hoagland gets open on the baseline as Slicker picks up his second quick personal foul.
That's the first field goal that was made in this half by the Fountain Central Mustangs, and the second time in a row where BJ probably could have stood his ground and attempted and maybe drawn the charge there, which would have negated the basket. Instead, he went for the big play, the block, and he drew contact and also gave up the basket.
And grabs the defensive rebound as Hoagland misses the free throw opportunity. 36-33 our score. 5:20 to go in the third quarter here. Again, a very quickly played ball game at North Montgomery High School. Ratcliffe on the dribble. Down to Slicker. Three-point play. Rattles the cage. Starts to come out and sucks back down into the basket. Slicker's got his fourth tray of the night. He's got 14 points overall, and we are tied at 36-36 with 5:05 to go in the third quarter. Here comes Fountain Central looking to go into transition. Now they think differently of it and pull their offense back out around the three-point ring with the basketball. Schaefer. Top side goes left wing off to Lyons. Lyons goes cross court back to Schaefer. Into the lane. Here comes a shot up by Peebler. It's going to go down. It's going to count. And again, he's going to go to the line as Fountain Central does a nice job of penetrating this third quarter of play.
Fountain Central doing an exceptional job starting this half, Jeff, of going in, drawing contact, getting it in. This is the third time that they've gone to the line to shoot free throws in this third quarter, and it's the second time they have a chance to convert a three-point play.
Sean Ratcliffe picks up his first personal foul and sends Peebler to the stripe where he converts on that three-point play as Tom talked about. He's got 9 points on the night, and Fountain Central grabs a three-point lead back again. Here's Slicker, top of the circle, left side, three-point shot off the iron, no good. First three-point miss of the night for Slicker, who had hit 4. Glasscock pulls the D rebound down for Fountain Central. Moving down to the close end of the floor, here comes Schaefer. Goes on a cross-court pass to Lyons. Around the right side wheel they work. This is Peebler. Peebler right side now passes back on top. Once again, Fountain Central works around the three-point ring. North Montgomery is content to let them pass the ball around, but now that they go inside, they get contact, and we've got a whistle and a foul. As driving to the basket, Brian Lyons is going to head to the stripe for 2 as he is fouled in the act of shooting by the 6'2 sophomore John Sparks.
And after only attempting 4 free throws in the entire first half, hitting 3 of them, they are getting ready to attempt their 5th and 6th free throws of the first 3:45 of this half, Jeff, simply by taking it right at the Chargers.
Tyler Fuller is going to check back in for North Montgomery. Saw second quarter action for the Chargers, again coming off a minor medical procedure. Fuller not back to full game condition. Saw some action against Central Catholic and did have a nice solid 12-point effort last night against West Lafayette. First free throw is no good for Lyons. Second free throw also no good. Slicker with the defensive rebound for the Chargers, and he'll feed the ball off to Sparks, who'll bring the ball to midcourt, go cross court across the timeline to Slicker, and he'll set up the North Montgomery offense. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. 39-36. Fountain Central's got the lead. North's got the basketball. Here's an open man. This is Sparks. He gets the pass from Slicker. Whistle, foul. It's going to go against Fountain Central. Could easily have gone the other way as there was a big contact down in the three-point lane on the Chargers end of the floor. We'll have a whistle. Call's going to go against Lyons. It'll be his third, and Tom, he becomes the first player on either side of the ledger tonight to pick up his third foul, and it will send North to the free throw line in the person of John Sparks.
Hey, you know, luckily for North Montgomery, the Fountain Central has just not made its free throws. After making 4 of their first 5, they have now missed 4 of their last 5, and BJ Slicker has 3 defensive rebounds in this quarter, Jeff. All of them have come off missed free throws.
Lyons checks out. Chip Fischerow checks in. As we noted, Lyons with 3 personal fouls at the free throw line. The sophomore, John Sparks, who has 1 bucket in this quarter already, now adds a free throw to his credit to pull North back to within 2, 39-37. You were going to say.
Well, I didn't want to jinx him after he makes that free throw. North now a perfect 7 out of 7 from the line tonight.
Good enough, and they pulled within 1, 39-38. Backcourt pressure by the Chargers. Here's McCormick on the pressure, guarding Schaefer closely. He'll give it off to Hoagland, who'll bring it to front court. Then North can't quite pull off the steal as Gwynn intercepts the pass, but steps right on the sideline.
Jason Gwynn's been a little bit quiet tonight. He hasn't picked up maybe the rebounds that he's done. He's a role player. He does a lot of screening and picking for different players, but that's the first time he's really gone after a ball hard to try and knock the ball loose from Fountain Central.
3:45 to go in the third quarter. Fountain Central leads by 1. They've got the ball as well. Here's a left-hand running hook shot, if you will, up for Chip Fischerow. Very unorthodox, but very good. 41-38 our score. North Montgomery works to the front court. Sparks on the right-hand dribble. Stops on the high wing, goes inside, finds Gwynn open. Gwynn's shot rejected by Glasscock. Well, I think we're going to have a whistle and a body contact foul. Glasscock, I know, blocked that shot pretty cleanly, Tom, but Gwynn will go to the line for 2 free throws as he was contacted probably on the hip.
Yeah, I think he did. He just, one of those that now Jason Gwynn does a good job. He draws a little contact, gets himself to the free throw line, and, you know, because Jason is just not all that big, you know, he's 6 feet tall. He's, you know, he's a tight end in football, and he's a little bit stockier of a guy. He's really built like Matt Walker is. You know, not necessarily real big. He just kind of looks a little bit chunky, and he's probably a little deceptively quick that way.
Well, that's true, and he's also a very intelligent ball player. I know that Coach Charlie German, the football coach of North Montgomery, and Coach Young have talked time and time again about what a smart floor player Jason Gwynn is, the 6-foot junior at the free throw line. He had a field goal in the first half. He's got 1 and misses the second free throw, so the perfect streak ends for North Montgomery, and that makes it a 41-39 game. We then got a whistle and a tie-up on the rebound after the missed free throw, and Fountain Central will play it in. 3:20 and counting. Third quarter action here in North Montgomery. North Montgomery trails Fountain Central by 2. We've got a turnover at midcourt, as a good midcourt pick is engineered by the Chargers, picking up Tyler Fuller and Craig Edwards. Hoagland lost the ball.
Both teams have done something that they should not do and should know by this point not to do, Jeff, and that is they pick up their dribble very early and make it that defense that much easier to guard them. Fountain Central was not doing it earlier, but they've begun to do it as the third quarter progresses.
As we hit the 3-minute mark and counting of the third quarter, North Montgomery ties this ball game up as Jason McCormick hits a running jump shot just inside the lane for his second bucket of this quarter. 13 points overall for the 6-foot sophomore. We're tied at 41 with 2:50 to go and counting. Fountain Central again looking for that patient offensive attack. Schaefer with the basketball down deep in the right corner. He gives the ball to Glasscock. Now looking inside, they got a man posted up. Slicker with a block shot. The shot that time was by Peebler. The rejection clean by Slicker. North got the basketball into the front court, losing control of the basketball. This is Edwards. Edwards now has his pocket pick. Peebler's layup shot no good. Slicker with a rebound. Slicker triggers the down court pass, gives it off to Fuller. Fuller shot rolls in. As he falls to the floor, Tyler Fuller has seeing eyes on that shot, and it rolls in for his first points of the night, and that gives North the lead back, 43-41 with 2:12 to go in the third quarter. Who'd have thunk it? North Montgomery almost engineers another steal at midcourt. The Mustangs slow it down and play the ball in with the basketball. On the dribble, now the drive. This is going to be Adam Hoagland. Peebler hit an open Hoagland flashing to the lane, and Hoagland lays it up. He's got 13 points. We're tied at 43. 1:50 to go in the third quarter. North Montgomery ball. Slicker has it, high right wing. Gives up his dribble, goes underneath. McCormick open for 2. Give the assist to Slicker on the bucket to Jason McCormick, who's got 6 points in this quarter, and North takes the lead back.
And North Montgomery, Jeff, now 6 out of 7 from the field in the quarter.
Man, oh man. We're tied. I should say North Montgomery takes the lead back, and now North comes up with a defensive rebound shot missed by Glasscock. Slicker would lead the break. He'll go left side. McCormick fires at the baseline. That's off the iron. No good. Rebound pulled down by Fountain Central. Hoagland's got the defensive rebound. He waits for traffic to clear. Coach Coleman up off the Fountain Central bench saying, guys, you've got to take your time. You've got to put some patience back in the offense. That's what got them their big second quarter lead.
That last miss by Jason McCormick was his first miss of the third quarter, Jeff. He was 3 out of 3, and it hit 4 in a row.
Here's a 3-point shot by Fountain Central. It's up and no good. The shot by Fischerow is off the mark. The rebound pulled down by North Montgomery. I believe it was Gwynn on the rebound. We're under a minute to go for North, and now the Chargers travel with the ball. They were looking to get the ball into transition. The pass got to Gwynn a little quicker than he wanted to, and he got an extra step in before he started the dribble.
And that's what North did to start out the game. They tried to push that fast break a little bit too much, and they got themselves a little bit out of sync, and they were creating a lot of turnovers or causing a lot of turnovers, and that's what they did right there. But still, with a 2-point lead, 45-43 with under a minute to go, North has a chance now to have some momentum going into that fourth quarter.
50 seconds to go in the third quarter. Kevin Templeman reports in and replaces B.J. Slicker for the last 50 ticks of this third quarter clock, giving Slicker a little extra break after full ball game last night, and a lot of action in this game tonight. Fountain Central looks to be very patient as they are trapped at midcourt. They are run now 15, 18 seconds off the clock and have made no progress towards the basket. With a basketball, Hoagland dribbles twice, then bounce passes right side off to Schaefer. Fountain Central is working out very, very close to the 10-second line, so they are showing no interest at all in attacking the basket. As Schaefer and Hoagland still play some catch, they go down to Glasscock once, and they're back up on top. We're now down to 11 seconds, 10, 9, and counting. Now Fountain Central will attack. Here comes Schaefer. Schaefer can't get inside, doesn't shoot. Off to Hoagland. Hoagland into the lane. Shot up off the glass, no good. Rebound loose. It's tipped up. It's hacked away by North Montgomery, and the buzzer sounds. So Fountain Central literally runs the last 50 seconds off the clock. They get a shot, but they do not convert, and North Montgomery takes the lead into the fourth quarter. It's 45-43. Chargers up. We'll be back with fourth quarter action after this.
The high school
Best ask, because we have a courteous carry-out service. Hope to see you soon at County Market, your one-stop place to shop.
Just back to action in the fourth quarter. As we remind you, you're listening to high school basketball on 103.9 WIMC. North Montgomery starts with a basketball, and we're going to have an offensive foul on Jason McCormick to start the action. He got a lane open to the baseline, but Peebler slid over and took the open lane away, and McCormick picks up his first personal foul. At the next dead ball, we'll get some Tom Coyle three-quarter stats. Again, we remind you that it's a 45-43 North lead. Now we've got a traveling in the backcourt violation against Fountain Central. Thomas.
Sure, real quickly, Jeff, through three quarters now, Fountain Central 19 out of 35. They were 4-11 in the third. North Montgomery 16 of 29, 55%, 6 of 8 from the field in that third quarter. North now with an 18-17 rebound advantage. They out-rebounded Fountain Central 9-5 in the third, and a 14-12 turnover advantage. North with 14 and Fountain Central with 12 on the game.
All right, back to action. North Montgomery with a basketball around now a zone defense of Fountain Central. We have not seen that much at all tonight. Getting open, here's McCormick. McCormick will put the bucket in, but he will not get credit for it as a foul is going to be called on Joey Schaefer well before the shot. Maybe in the NBA it counts. And speaking of NBA, I want to remind everybody that when we finish our coverage of high school basketball here on WIMC, we will then tune in to the NBA coverage of the Indiana Pacers. They are on the West Coast playing at Golden State. So we sure invite you to tune in and stay with our coverage for that. As the foul is ruled on Schaefer, I have him for 3 fouls, so does the scoreboard. North plays it in. They work the ball around the block. They get it on the weak side to Jason McCormick, and McCormick squares up and connects on the bucket. That gives North a 4-point lead, 47-43, and Tony Coleman calls timeout, the first timeout taken by Fountain Central on the night. 3 to go. Let's take a timeout from North ourselves. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Selecting the proper unit for your individual needs and keeping their customers happy with prompt, reliable service. Invest in a Puritan water conditioner today. Phone 362-6340 for a free water analysis or stop in at 216 Lafayette Avenue in Crawfordsville.
After the timeout, North Montgomery puts backcourt pressure on Fountain Central's guard. They work the ball to front court and get the ball into the attack zone. Schaefer with a basketball, giving it off the line. 6:52 to go in the fourth quarter. Fountain Central trailing North Montgomery here at North, 47-43. Again, glad to have you along on this Saturday night of what has been a wild sports day. Man, we have had so much great sporting activity around the nation, around the area today. In our postgame show, we'll get a chance to talk a little bit about that. Here's a shot, free throw line, extended just a little bit. Good for Brian Peebler. Peebler now goes into double figures, 11 points on the night. That cuts the North margin down to 2, 47-45. McCormick into the front court for North Montgomery. Off to top right wing, Kevin Templeman, looking for Tyler Fuller to cut open. Fuller instead cuts baseline instead of out, and the bad pass by North gives it back to FC.
Talking about Pacers type of stats, that's the 16th turnover on North Montgomery in the game, but only their 5th here in the second half.
Interesting number on Jason McCormick.
Yeah, looking at Jason McCormick, Jeff, he's 8 of 12 from the field. He's 4 of 5 so far in the second half. BJ Slicker is 5 of 7 from the field, 4 of 5 threes so far, and had 5 rebounds in that third quarter alone.
Great third quarter for North Montgomery as they take the lead back. Now here's a shot up, no good by Fountain Central's Brian Lyons. Rebound pulled down by Templeman. Templeman looks for an open man, gives it to Gwynn. Gwynn looks for a guard. That's Edwards. Craig Edwards brings it into the front court for North Montgomery. Stops his dribble, gives it back off to Gwynn. High center center wing. He'll give it off now on the right side, skip pass to Fuller, and drags his pivot foot before he can get rid of the ball.
Just one of those things. B.J. Slicker is going to check back in for the Chargers right now, and going out is going to be Jason Gwynn. Gwynn a little bit tired, it looks like, and a good chance for them to get B.J. that extra rest, and he obviously will be in the game for the remaining 6 minutes.
He came out with 50 seconds to go in the third quarter and rested the first 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the fourth quarter, so he should be well rested for this final stretch run of 5.5 minutes. Fountain Central ball, trailing by 2 with the basketball. Left wing, Lions looking. They got a man open for a second. Peebler gets it back off to Lions, who drives the baseline underneath, and it's foul as he goes to the bucket. Will it be Slicker or will it be McCormick? Either one of them will pick up a foul here and stop the clock with 5:32 to go. It's going to be B.J. Slicker getting his third personal foul, and it's the 16th foul on North Montgomery in this half.
Yeah, B.J. once again tried to go for the block shot instead of just going in defensive position, and he had a block shot earlier in the game, but that's about actually all 3 of his fouls have come when he has chosen not to go for defensive position, instead tried to block somebody's shot inside.
Tough to do. You don't get the credit for the position or the block shot very often. You usually end up getting some piece of an arm or contact on the hip. Lions makes the first free throw, misses the second. North Montgomery leads by 1. They get the defensive rebound. 47-46 our score. Here's a give and go, no look pass. Nice inside move from Kevin Templeman off to B.J. Slicker. Slicker lays it up. He now has 16 points on the night, and North leads 49-46. Now a near steal in the backcourt, and there is a steal. Pass tipped away by Templeman. Here on the break is Edwards giving it off to Fuller. Fuller to the baseline, shot up off the iron. It's no good, and we're going to have a foul underneath on Fountain Central.
North Montgomery's quickness right now just causing those problems. As good as Fountain Central's defense has been all night long, they just don't have the quickness, and people like Jason McCormick get that flash where they start out on the wing and they kind of take a fake step like he's going to the inside, almost like he's a wide receiver in football when he's playing, and he just takes that guy and fakes, and he has to react because Jason is so quick. He then just flashes across the top and goes through the lane, gets it, and Jason just always lays that up with his left hand.
So tough for young men, basketball players who really want to get up and down the floor, I'm sure, and for Fountain Central, they play such patient offense almost all night long. Well, you just get out of sync for a couple of seconds, and a team as quick as North Montgomery, will just burn you, which is what they've done here the last couple trips down the floor. The foul was on Aaron Glasscock. It's his second. The clock is stopped with 5:05 to go in the fourth quarter. At the free throw line is Tyler Fuller. Makes 1, makes 2. So the Chargers have shot very, very well from the free throw line here tonight.
I think that was Scott Kegley's job, wasn't it? Free throw shooting. We should ask Coach about that in the post-game.
We'll definitely do that. 51-46, under 5 minutes to go. North has their biggest lead in some time. Fountain Central into the front court on the attack. Half-court pressure by North. Doesn't work. Inside. Here's Peebler. Shot up left hand. Good. Brian Peebler lays it in. He's now got 13 points on the game. That makes it 51-48. Back on D very quickly. Fountain Central engineering a bad pass as a tip ball underneath by Schaefer goes off the legs of Tyler Fuller, and it'll be Fountain Central basketball.
And just once again, those start to mount up. 18 turnovers now for the Chargers.
Looking to put some backcourt pressure again on Fountain Central is North. Coming across the 10-second line on the dribble. This is Schaefer. Schaefer lays it off, gives it underneath to a wide-open Adam Hoagland, who lays it up for 2. 15 points for Hoagland. 51-50 now is our score. Fountain Central with a half-court trap. Doesn't work. Edwards to the front court. Now near steal. The ball tipped away by Fountain Central right into the North Montgomery cheerleaders on the far side of the floor.
We've been talking about people for North Montgomery's shooting percentage tonight. Adam Hoagland, Jeff, now is 7 out of 10 from the field. He is 7 of 9 on shots inside the three-point arc.
Sparks in, Edwards out for North Montgomery very quickly at that dead ball situation. Here's a bad pass intercepted by Fountain Central on the out-of-bounds play, and Brian Lyons lays it in. Just lazy ball keeping right there by North Montgomery, and Fountain Central takes the lead back 52-51 with 4:05 to go in the fourth quarter. North on the attack. Ratcliffe has it. Gives it off to Sparks. Sparks puts it on the floor left hand. Looks to pass it inside. It's tipped around. Last touch by the Chargers. And it'll be Fountain Central ball again. And Coach Young is forced to call his third timeout. 3:57 to go. Again, North Montgomery comes up with a real screeching haul of their offense. Getting out of sync. They call timeout. They trail Fountain Central by 1. We're back after this.
Mustangs with, as I mentioned, just under 4 minutes to go. And Jeff, North Montgomery has attempted only 2 shots here in this third quarter. They have made both of them. They have 6 turnovers in the first 4 minutes of this quarter. And right now, Fountain Central has that momentum. Adam Hoagland, as we talked about, has been the big gun. Also, Brian Peebler and Aaron Glasscock have just stepped up to make the shots when they need them, and they're back to making those crisp passes.
This has really been a difficult game for me to assess, Tom, because I watch North Montgomery, and they look so good at moments, and then they look so bad at moments. It just drives the guy crazy. I can about imagine what Coach Young has got to be going through down on the bench, watching his Chargers go through some of those same motions. Now, after the timeout, Fountain Central brings the ball down into the front court. They throw the ball away. It's intercepted by North Montgomery's Kevin Templeman. Here come the Chargers. Bad pass intercepted by Fountain Central. 3.5 minutes to go in the ball game. Fountain Central with a 1-point lead. They also have the basketball in the backcourt on the right-hand dribble. This is Schaefer. Schaefer walks it across the 10-second line. Sets up the offense. Changes hands. Left hand. Goes into the 3-second lane. Doesn't shoot. Kicks it back out on top to Hoagland. Hoagland back to Schaefer. Schaefer now showing some of that Fountain Central patience we saw in offense in the first half, where they built up a 7-point lead. Again, the Mustangs lead by 1. We're down to 3 minutes and 5 seconds and counting in the fourth quarter here at North Montgomery. Stopping his dribble, intercepting the pass. Templeman has it. Long pass down the floor. Ratcliffe, bounce pass, open, streaking is Fuller. Misses the shot. It's too hard off the glass. The rebound pulled down by Fountain Central's Aaron Glasscock.
One thing you got to watch, Jeff, Fountain Central handles the ball so well. If they get any type of lead more than this 1 point, last night in their game against Covington, they held the ball for over a minute, winding down the first half before Fishrow hit the 3-point shot. They have the ability to milk the clock and nurse a lead for all it's worth and get themselves to the line.
Well, they ran the last 50 seconds off the clock in the third quarter and got a good shot. It just didn't go in as they trailed at the end of the third quarter by a score of 45.
Montgomery, Fountain Central coming out of their second timeout called, will have possession of the ball, leading by 1. And after they took the lead at the 4:11 mark on Lyons' steal and 2-point layup to take this 52-51 lead, Jeff, in the last minute 30 seconds, nobody has put a point on the board.
As Tom mentioned, the 6-point streak by Fountain Central has brought them from a 5-point deficit to that 1-point lead, and they probably will now look to milk some time off the clock. Standing outside the 3-point ring, Schaefer doesn't shoot. Now down inside. Here's a Peebler pass, tipped away, intercepted by Ratcliffe. Whistle, ball tipped out of bounds. The referee hesitated for a moment. I thought he was going to point it Fountain Central's way, but instead, under the coaxing of Coach Young, decides to give it to North Montgomery.
That's a good call. I think he was just a little turned around with those many bodies going which direction. He wanted to make sure he called it right.
McCormick inside, or in the bounds play, goes to Slicker. Slicker's 3-point shot, no good, and the rebound is pulled down by Brian Lyons. Lyons will bring the ball to the front court of the right-hand dribble. Is joined in the battle at the 3-point ring. Stops, goes to Peebler. Peebler to the lane. Shot up off the iron, no good. Ball loose underneath with the ball. North Montgomery has it. John Sparks has it. He kicks it out of the right side to Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe quickly into the front court. Fountain Central falls back on defense as North Montgomery gathers themselves up offensively. Here's Slicker with the ball. Lost to McCormick deep in the left corner. Back to Slicker. Under 2 minutes to go. North Montgomery trails 52-51. Sparks with a basketball on the handoff from Slicker. We've got a whistle and a holding call against Fountain Central. Joey Schaefer's going to pick up his 4th foul, and he is not happy about that call.
You know, Jeff, that's going to be his 4th foul, and I know he's unhappy about that. 1:52 left to go. I'm amazed. This is only their 6th team foul. Neither team has gotten into the bonus in either half, and we've had pretty aggressive defense at both ends.
North plays it in. Outbound pass goes down to Slicker. Slicker to Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe forces up a shot. It's off the iron. No good. Ratcliffe badly out of position, Tom, trying to shoot the ball. Pull a real smart move, though. He leaned in and drew contact and got the foul call. That shot was never going to go in. Instead, Ratcliffe will go to the line for 2 free throws.
Sean Ratcliffe is 2 of 2 on the night, and you're right, Jeff. He was a little bit off balance. I think he was afraid he was going to travel. He didn't see anyone to pass it to, so he made sure there was contact, and then he threw the ball up towards the basket, and he gets himself to the line, and he misses the first free throw.
Brian Peebler was the unfortunate party, guilty of the contact. It's his 3rd foul. Several players with 3. Schaefer with 4 for Fountain Central. Only B.J. Slicker with 3 for North Montgomery. Second free throw is good. That time for Ratcliffe. It's his 3rd point of the ball game. All points coming off the stripe. We're tied at 52. 1:41 to go. Fountain Central with a basketball. They got a couple timeouts to use should they want. Peebler has it left baseline. Back on top. Gives it off to Schaefer. Schaefer on the left-hand dribble. Changes hands. Backs up into the center jump circle. 1:30 to go. Clock running. We're tied at 52. Fountain Central and North Montgomery in a weird basketball game here tonight at North Montgomery High School. Schaefer still on the dribble. Gets the return pass from Hoagland out near the 10-second line.
Looking right here, Jeff, watch what happens. Brian Lyons is pretty much not being guarded, and he has to watch it. Well, North's got to watch it, or he's going to slide down on that baseline, and he's going to get an easy back door.
Coach Coleman has gotten up off the bench. He has now called the four-corner offense, and Fountain Central literally has backed 4 guys out completely to one corner of their offensive end with only Peebler at the free throw lane.
Fountain Central has to watch it. Unlike college, you cannot continue to dribble the ball. You can still get a 5-second call. That rule is different from the college game, and they have to watch it or they're going to get a 5-second call.
We're down to 50 seconds and counting. On the dribble, Schaefer goes underneath. Here's a shot up by Lyons. It rolls around the cage and falls in for 2. And Fountain Central takes a 54-52 lead with 36 seconds to go. North brings the ball into their end of the floor. Sparks with it. Bad pass. Tipped around, but grabbed by McCormick. McCormick's into the lane. Leans in. Shot in the iron. Good. Jason McCormick ties it up with 25 seconds to go at 54. Whistle, contact in backcourt. Sparks trying to grab the steal. Instead, gets a chunk of the body. And John Sparks, the 6'2 sophomore, is whistled for his second personal foul. It stopped the clock with 23 seconds to go, and we are tied at 54-54. Tom, may not have been a real bad foul for North Montgomery because you know that Fountain Central was going to work it down for the last shot.
And actually, it may not be because Fountain Central came out after missing its first free throw, made 4 in a row to go 4 and 5. Since then, they have made only 2 of their last 6 free throw attempts.
At the free throw line is number 22, 5'11 senior Joey Schaefer. He has only 2 points now, make it 3 points on the night. That free throw that he just made is his first free throw made of the contest. It gives Fountain Central the 1-point lead, 55-54. Again, 23 seconds remain in this fourth quarter here at North Montgomery High School. Listening to high school basketball on WIMC 103.9 FM. Schaefer's second free throw is good. The Mustangs lead is 2, 56-54. Sparks to the front court. Cross-court pass goes to Slicker. 17 seconds. North with the ball, down by 2. Ratcliffe to the right baseline. Shot up, off the iron, no good. Sparks can't control it. It's loose still. Whistle, contact. We've got 3 bodies on the floor at midcourt, and North Montgomery is going to be called for the foul. Sean Ratcliffe has picked up the personal foul and stops the clock with 9 seconds to go. Tom, North Montgomery got a pretty good shot at it on the right block. I thought they were going to get the ball back when Sparks tried to tip it. Didn't get it in his hands, however. Fountain Central with a good job of moving the ball, kept it loose. They finally got enough people diving for it, and Ratcliffe picks up the personal foul, his second.
Wrong person to foul, Jeff. Brian Peebler is going to go to the line, and he is 3 of 3 on the night.
4 of 4 on the night as Fountain Central takes a 3-point lead here with 3 consecutive free throws. Peebler on the ball game, 14 points, including 4 points from the stripe. North Montgomery trails by 3. They still trail by 3, but the offensive rebound is grabbed by Hoagland, and we'll have a foul on Slicker, stopping the clock with 7 seconds to go.
Excellent job. Fountain Central just stepping up, getting every loose ball. Anytime there was a loose ball, I'd say 80% of them went Fountain Central's way, and right now, especially late in the fourth quarter in a close game, that's been the difference.
Coach Coleman up giving some instructions to his backcourt guys, Brian Lyons and Joey Schaefer. I imagine the biggest thing is if a free throw is made, get out of the way. We don't want any fouls under any circumstances. As Hoagland, you may hear the Fountain Central fans cheering in the background as the 6'3 senior connects on the free throw. He now has 9, 15, 16 points on the night, and it gives his Mustang squad a 4-point lead. Second free throw is also good. It's 59-54, 7 seconds, 6, 5. Here's a 3-point shot by Ratcliffe. Good. Timeout, North Montgomery with 2 seconds to go. So North with just a little bit of hope left in their lungs. Sean Ratcliffe connects on a 3-point shot on the outside right wing. That pulls North to within 2, 59-57. That ends a 5-point free throw streak by Fountain Central. Ratcliffe's field goal, interestingly enough, Tom, is his first field goal of the ball game. North uses their last timeout. They've got to get a steal and a bucket here in 2 seconds.
That's right, and what you do is you try to deny the inbound pass, or they're also, because we're in the bonus situation, you look for a foul. You try and draw contact. You try and draw a charging foul on the inbound pass, which would be free throws, which would give them a chance, without the clock starting, to get the ball to the free throw line and try and score some points.
North Montgomery led at the end of 1. They trail at the halftime. They led at the end of 3. Will Fountain Central continue the streak? Will they lead at the end of the fourth quarter? We'll find out in about 2 seconds of playing time here, as we have had, just as I said before, a really weird game at North Montgomery High School. There's been lots of turnovers. There's been lots of good shooting. There's been lots of good play. There's been lots of bad play. There's been lots and lots of things here, and we're certainly glad that you've been along with us for this wild ride tonight.
It really has been interesting. I tell you what, Jeff, this Fountain Central team is going to give fits to a lot of people during the course of the season, and when they run against a team like Crawfordsville who has trouble scoring, it's going to be that much more difficult.
Here we go. Final 2 seconds. Fountain Central to play it in. They get the ball in bounds off the Lions. Lions holds onto the ball and then gives it up, just puts it up in the air, and the buzzer sounds as the clock runs out, and Fountain Central has won 3 in a row. They go 3-0 for the first time since the glory days a few years ago, and they defeat North Montgomery here at North by a score of 59-57, and what a happy bunch of Fountain Central players have run underneath our broadcast position down to their locker room, cheering, high fives, contact all over the place, and for good reason. The Mustangs have defeated North on North's own floor and gone to 3-0 on the season. Again, our final score is Fountain Central 59, North Montgomery 57, and we'll be back with final game scoring and stats right after this.
The high school basketball radio boosters are the Sportsman Shop.